start with one topic, but we just see where we end up. You know, it's basically the game of telephone. This is Tangent Telephone. Wait, how did we end up here?
Hi, my dudes, and welcome back to Tangent Telephone. I'm a little bit sad right now because I should be in Vegas right now of course, there's all these loud sounds, right, when I start, with my best friend for her birthday. She was actually supposed to visit last weekend, and then this weekend I was flying her here again, and then we were going to fly to Vegas together. But just to keep it real, she kind of fucked me over, didn't come last weekend, and that upset me, and we haven't spoken. So there's a little bit of tea, although no one knows who I'm talking about, so it's fine. Yeah, so that's upsetting. I mean, I literally, could be there right now. I booked everything, and I have, all of her presents and everything. You know, you would think I would be better at totally going off on a tangent here, but after a lifetime, especially my adult life, of having a lot of people that are close to me struggle with addiction, you would think that I don't want to say be better at navigating it, because I do think I think I'm very good at navigating when a loved one is struggling with addiction. For them, at least. But for myself, I know that I'm not. Kind of in just the same pattern of my life in which I neglect myself. It plays over into that. So this isn't the first time that this has happened with this person. It's really hard. It's hard without getting into it also. I know it's not my fault. It's not her fault. I just know that it's drugs. I have really been trying a lot this past year, well, I don't know for how long. Just, to put myself first, at least occasionally. I just thought, I thought this trip was actually going to work out. It really was seeming like it was going to work out, but alas, it did not. And you know what? I am moving in, I'm not going to say exactly how long, because I don't know. I've posted on social media today. You can probably tell if you follow me, what day it is, and I don't like talking about when I'm moving and all that stuff just because of things that have happened in the past with stalker situations, but I'm moving soon. I really should be spending this weekend. Is that a spider? No. I should be spending this weekend sort of, figuring out how the fuck I'm gonna pack up this 3-story house. The 2 times I moved, or 3 times, since I've lived in LA, it has been such an arduous process. The last time I moved into this house, I was just moving out of a 1-bedroom apartment. And it took 2 days and 4 people, including myself, to pack everything up. And then we had movers, obviously. And my dad was one of those people, and he was like, look, next time you move, I'm sorry. I think this is the last time I can do this. Which is totally fair. I don't expect him to, but now I need to figure out how to hire people, not just movers, who will come in and move the boxes that are already boxed up and move the big things, but moving first of all, moving a studio and then moving a 1-bedroom apartment. Imagine how long it's gonna take to pack up this place. Whew. Someone to go through and actually box stuff up in a way that makes sense. I should probably hire people to do that. I don't know what that title is. I don't know. All I know is I don't think I can do it by myself or even with some of my friends. I think I need to outsource for sure. But yeah, so I was thinking maybe it's good that I'm not going to Vegas, even though I paid for not only last weekend for her flights, but this weekend and the hotel and everything. Oh no, the cat has found the microphone. By the way, if you're watching the video of this on YouTube, I don't know what the lighting is looking like. Hi, Bubbies. Hi. I don't know what the lighting is looking like right now. It's a weird time, and I don't have my proper lighting set up. But it's very chill. I'm really excited to be. Can you see this? She's playing with the drawstring on my shorts. She's also right in front of the mic, so hopefully you can't. As I was saying, I'm very excited for when I do move and I have a whole bedroom that is going to be soundproofed. Well, the building is actually quite soundproof. It's concrete. Bug, I think you're being a little bit loud in front of the microphone. No, what you're not going to do is lick yourself right in front of the mic. have a whole room that can be soundproofed and set up with a set. Oh my gosh, I have a feeling like when I am moving into that place, like obviously I'm gonna, basics, set up the basics like the bed and the couch and whatever, but I have a feeling I'm not really gonna fully unpack everything until after I'm like done with the studio, because that's an exciting new project for me. It's more exciting than putting stuff away in the drawers, and I'm excited to have more space. While this is a house, it's technically a townhome, and I'm going to an apartment. In my head, it sort of sounds like, oh, that's like a weird downgrade. It's actually not. I mean, this new apartment is insane. It is, most importantly, it's very safe. It's insane. I know people that live there, and it's a 2-bedroom, and it's actually bigger than this townhome. Where was I going with that? Oh, like having more space. And I think the whole vibe of my new place, I'm gonna do it a little bit differently. The whole time I've lived here, I really went with like a whole black and white. That is a loud motorcycle. Like black and white vibe, because it was a brand new building. Everything is, stainless steel, white, black. The railings on the staircases, and then my couch is like gray and white and marbled. This right now, I have like a comforter over my couch. Well, it's like sectionals. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. And I just went with a really modern vibe and aesthetic, and I like it. I will always love this place. It has served me very well. It's definitely time to move. There's something about when you're in a relationship. It's funny, this is actually the first time that I haven't gotten a new mattress right after a breakup. Not that I've like intended on doing that, but for whatever reason, after my first relationship ended, the company Lowell like wanted to collaborate with me for YouTube, and they sent me a mattress, and I was like, cool, I feel like this is very good and like cleansing. Like, new mattress after this relationship, almost 2-year relationship. Then I moved to my last apartment. So weird, it feels like it was so long ago. I lived there in 2020, and my ex also lived in the same complex, and then I had a restraining order after like 2 months, and so it was awful. But Lowell sent me a mattress again, like a couple years later, and I was like, wow, how perfect, new mattress. But I've had that same mattress since then, since 2020, and oh my gosh, there's like a motorcycle, I almost said tournament. There's been a lot of motorcycles outside. Maybe I'll reach out to them and be like, hey, I'm gonna need a new mattress. Also, maybe TMI, but not TMI if you know the other things that I talk about in general. My mattress has a huge blood stain, probably like 3 blood stains, honestly, but they're all like in the same spot. Just because, my fucking period is heavy as shit, and it likes to go through the sheets, the mattress protector, the sheets, the temperature regulating thingy, the mattress protector, and then onto the mattress itself, I guess. But after a relationship, I like to just, apparently get a new mattress. So maybe I'll do that once I move. But as for like where I'm living, it is kind of weird how, my first apartment when I moved to LA, it was like Redondo Beach. And I lived there for 2 years, and I was with someone for that whole time. I literally met my ex like 2 or 3 days after moving here. It was pretty crazy. He was a photographer at a shoot that I was doing. And then that relationship ended. I was single for like 6 months. Oh my gosh. I don't know if you guys can hear all these motorcycles, but I'm very confused. I was single for like 5 or 6 months, and then I started dating my ex, but I started dating another person, and then a couple months later moved out of there. And so it was like, I see that first apartment as the era of that person. Do you know what I mean? And then the next apartment, I see it as the era with my next boyfriend. But then also, I don't even know, honestly. I traveled a lot in like the middle to end of 2020 because the situation was so bad. When I say traveled, I mean like I would literally just go to Arizona and stay with my best friend. And I think I went a few other places. But in this place, I moved here I actually moved here like December 30th, 2020. So started off 2021 here. And then in June of 2021 is when I met my ex things recently ended. So pretty much the whole time that I lived here, there were like 6 months before we met, and like there were other boys, but as far as like our relationship goes. And so I just am associating this place now with that relationship. I mean, Luckily, I want to say it's not horrible because we didn't spend much time here, which is fucking weird because I have a whole ass house and he lived with his parents. But, you know, I was always there. But it's just like the era of life, you know, that I lived here. And I feel like moving again is, I mean, I was going to move anyway. I actually was going to move in January or February-ish. We were going to move in together. But then even after that, I was still planning on moving. Yeah, and so I'm excited for this move. And I'm not excited about the fact that it's going to be double the price of what I'm currently paying, which is kind of outlandish because the area I live in now is so safe. It's like one of the best places you can live in Los Angeles. And I'm moving somewhere where it's not as safe. I mean, the building is super safe, but it's more desirable, I guess, and it's more of a, it's gonna be so expensive, you guys. I'm freaking out a lot. But I've like really been, I mean, I spent months looking, and then like even at this place I've gone back a few times to look at different units, and like I've done a lot of thinking and like what makes the most sense. Does it make sense to rent a place for cheaper and then like also rent a studio for OnlyFans and podcast and whatever? It would be like the same price as just getting a nice 2-bedroom. So I don't know. I know people that live there, and I don't know. I have a very, very, very good feeling about it, and I feel like it's gonna be so good for me in so many ways. Even just the nature of living in a townhome versus like an apartment complex is so different. Granted, it's been nice because for the first few months this year, I did really want to be like in solitude, at least when I came home. That's just something that I love about living alone, and I've lived alone since I moved here, is that like I can go out and be social and do whatever, but then like I don't have to come home and like worry about a roommate or something. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. It's just super nice. And it's like, if you're the type of person who won't really go out there and meet people, it can be lonely. And I've learned that this year because, you know, I've been going through a lot this year. I realize I haven't talked about it on this podcast, but if you followed me elsewhere. Also, side note, I'm literally in my Saturn return right now, which makes a lot of sense. And if you don't know what that is, I'm not going to go into it, but it just makes a lot of sense. And yeah, but I think like where I'm moving, how it's going to be set up, the location, I'm just very excited, and I'm excited to have a new space. Okay, now that we're 20 minutes into this, let me pull a topic out of the phone booth. I just grabbed this. You know what? I don't even want to show the label of this drink because not sponsored, not anything other than I was thirsty and I just grabbed something that I had in my fridge. So we're not even going to show the label. It's honestly not good. It's kind of funny how I was like, when I start every podcast episode, we're just going to pull something out of here and I'm going to go. But it's fine. I also was like, I'm probably not going to talk about my own life. Meanwhile, I just told you like so much about my literal home. I'm hoping this is like a shorter topic or less deep topic because I know this is going to be a shorter episode because I have to go do some things and then I have a date tonight. So, yeah, it's actually a date. Well, maybe I won't say that. I haven't been talking about like my dating life, relationships ever since, you know, my last one. And so I think I'm going to keep it that way for now. Wow, this is kind of a interesting thing that I picked. Friendships in your 20s. It's funny because I was sort of talking about that earlier. Well, I was more so talking about addiction. Okay, friendships in your 20s. It might be the time of your life where like it's so different for, first of all, every single person, and also where it changes the most. Maybe you have like a group of friends that kind of always remain the same, whether it's from before college or if you didn't go to college, if it's like from high school, whatever. But I feel like in your 20s, you also develop friend groups that either come and go, or I feel like it's more now like, these are like my party friends. I feel like, for whatever reason, I think because recently I've really been like going through and weeding out people that the relationship doesn't serve me anymore. But there's so many different groups of like party friends, but they also all like mesh together, and also LA is just so fucking like incestuous. Not in the literal sense, but like there are so many times where I'll be hanging out with someone and I'll see someone that I know there and my friend will also know them and I'm like, but like it doesn't make sense to me because you're a nurse and he like how do you guys know each other? It's just it happens so often. Where was I going with this? It's also hard because if you are in relationships or if you're in a relationship like with each, well, besides one of my exes who literally had no friends, your friend groups either kind of come together with the person you're dating or like you'll hang out with their friends, they'll hang out with your friends, or it'll, you know what I mean? And then like if that relationship ends, sometimes it's fucking weird, which it kind of depends, right? And it also depends on how the relationship ended and like whatever. So that's weird because sometimes it's like, whoa, okay, we broke up, but now I'm also losing these people who were my friends because they were his friends first. So that's a little bit weird. I don't know where I was going with that. I feel like your 20s probably is the weirdest, most like ever changing time of your life. Granted, I'm in my 20s, so I can't speak to any other decade other than the previous two. I've heard that your 30s is like the best time. I've heard more so that your 40s is like just the best. All that to say, I mean, this is such a broad topic. Like, I don't really know which way I just took that. I have friends that I've known from before, I was going to say from before I moved to LA, but before college even, from childhood that I'm still friends with. I don't see them all the time. And then I have in high school and college, I feel like I was just like friends with everyone. Maybe that's how it kind of is for everyone. But then when you graduate and you all go your own way, you know, you just don't see people all the time. I guess it's just so different. I guess speaking for myself, like I moved away after college on my own, but there were people that I met very early on to living here that I'm still close with. One person in particular, Mike, I met him maybe the first week of living here. I've been texting him today like about a trip that we want to go on, and like it's like the real ones will stay. Maybe that was not the right way to phrase that. I don't know what the right way to phrase that is. What's actually kind of weird is that it wasn't until my 20s that I had like a friendship breakup. I had never experienced that in high school, in college. Like, I never was involved in drama. The only drama I can think of, like, involved guys. Like, not because, like, I was starting drama with guys, but, like, the men were the dramatic ones. And, like, it wasn't until my 20s that I had a friendship breakup. Actually, with my best friend who I was talking about earlier. We didn't talk for almost a year, like in 2018, I think. She did something that was really messed up, honestly, and then, 9 or 10 months later, I didn't think we would ever speak again after what she did. It was super out of left field, uncalled for, just super weird. But I forgave her, and we made up. And, I know after whatever's going on right now, which I'm not going to get too much into, I kind of touched on it, but it's not my thing to talk about. We'll be fine because we really are like ride or die best friends. We met in the fucking hospital, for God's sake. Like, we met and then we lived together for 4 months. And then the other friendship breakup that I had was like at the end of 2021 with someone that I had only been friends with for a year or so, but we were pretty close. She saw my ex for, I don't even think like a month after I broke up with him and everything. And like, she reached out to me and was like, that could be a story for a different podcast. She like sent me a video of herself talking and, it turns out we are very similar. I don't think we are similar anymore, but on the surface we're very similar. We're blonde, blue eyes, fake boobs. We're both smart and funny, codependent, but in different ways. And he was a narcissist, so that makes sense, But out of kind of nowhere, we went on a trip to Mexico together. Ooh, do I want to tell this story right now? Nothing happened. It was such a fun trip. I paid for it because I wanted to, and like I knew that it would just make more sense for that. I'll talk about it later maybe. But we didn't even have like a breakup. It was honestly like I noticed that we hadn't talked in a while, and I texted her and I was like, "What's up?" And her response was weird. Again, it was more of it was like a her thing, but I remember it being so weird at the time, and talking to like my group of guy friends at the time, they were just like, you gotta just like let it go when that happens. And I'm like, well, I've never had like a friendship breakup. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It was odd. So for me personally, like I know a lot of times people will say friendship breakups are harder than relationship breakups. That hasn't been my experience, but that's because I haven't really experienced them. And like all of the friends I've made here in LA, it's just like, it is a thing where it's like there's just so many people here and you're just not going to hang out with everyone all the time. And if you have like a solid few people, whether you're all friends or whether 3 of you are friends and like there's like small groups, like for me personally, I was friends with Mike and then I was friends with my friend Sunda, and randomly one night we just like all went out and like now we're a little like we're all friends, you know, and like I've become friends with some of Mike's girlfriends, and it's just like as long as you have like a few solid people, I really think that is all you need. I think that is great. And then just be on good terms. If you're in a situation like me, I know LA is such a different world. I'm not on bad terms with any, like if I were to go out, well, besides like if I saw like my ex's friends, which I wouldn't, it would be more like if I saw his brother or something, but I wouldn't talk to him, you know? But like when I go out and usually when I go to events or parties, whatever, it's like I feel like I know everyone there and I'm on good terms with everyone. So it's lighthearted and fun. And that's like almost like a separate, I would consider them friends, but then like, do you know what I'm saying? I don't even know. These little prompts are just, it's a little bit too broad, because then I start going down tangents and it just says friendships in your 20s. Like, okay, what do you want me to, it's another weird thing that I don't really experience much here in LA, but you know, a lot of my friends that I grew up with, went to high school with, college, have children and or are married, and like that's a whole nother thing. I think, I don't know, it's like my group of friends here, or like in my groups of friends, I'm not at the point where like everyone's getting engaged and married. Like I see there's like this friend group of girls, and I think they're all like about 2 or 3 years older than me. Not that it matters when you get married, but there's something about, I think in LA, like it is fucking weird if you get married in your 20s, just period. It's like early 30s is when everyone starts to get married around here, and even beyond that, like I have so many friends that are in their 30s, late 30s, 40s, and that sounds so weird to say. It sounds like I'm talking about people that are so much older than me, but it's weird because I feel like we are the same age and they're not married and they're not stressed about it. You know, it's just a lot different here, I guess. It would probably be hard if I was in like a friend group where like everyone was married and having kids, and like if I was in my current position where like I don't even have a boyfriend at this moment, it would just be different, because like you can't, first of all, someone that doesn't have kids, someone that does have kids, I feel like when I become a mom, I will just be able to develop bonds with other moms in a different way, you know? It's not to say you can't still be friends with your friends that have kids or are married if you're not, or vice versa, but I think that it's just a totally different vibe, and also like you're probably going to see them a lot less because if they have like babies or whatever. I don't know. I feel like I could talk about this for a long time and I'm going to cut myself off. I mean, I kind of stayed on that topic pretty well, though. Instead of pulling something and then ending up somewhere else, we started with my like moving, and then we ended with friendships in your 20s. I'm kind of rethinking how I want to title these episodes. I know the point is to like have the starting and ending topic in the title, but I looked at last week's episode and it was like eye color facts, and the title was like what your eye color says about you and cat vomit. And like, yes, that was the plan, is like put the first topic here in this episode, but when you just look at that title, you're like, what my eye color says about me and cat vomit? Like what my eye color says about cat vomit? Do you know what I mean? So maybe I'll just have the title be the topic that we were supposed to talk about. I don't know. We'll see. Who cares? Like, that's the amazing thing about this podcast, is that like I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck how many people are listening, watching. Look, I don't. And I love that. And I think that's good. Number one, for me to be doing something because I enjoy it. And number two, if you are watching or listening, I think it's different when you know that someone is, you know, recording a podcast, making a video just because they love it, versus when it's like this whole production and there's different incentives, and they're both fine. Like, obviously, I do OnlyFans, I do YouTube, I do social media, and there's differences, right? Where this podcast is at least right now, I mean, it's only episode 3, right? I mean, it's technically episode 4, because there was that one lost episode. Maybe I'll remember when SpongeBob had a lost episode. Okay, you guys, I gotta go. I need to go. The fuck has got to go. If you know what that's from, please comment it. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to my channel. Hello. Give it a thumbs up, comment anything down below. Like, I think it's just so interesting to read, especially on like a podcast or a long form video I don't know, that's like one of my favorite parts of doing social media, especially YouTube, because it's so much deeper than just like an Instagram photo. It's just reading what everyone has to say. And I feel like personally on my YouTube channel, I've cultivated a group of people that is like, I say cultivated like I did it. Like I plucked each one of them and like designed the perfect, no, it's just, it makes me happy that there's so many people that are just like intelligent and caring, and I don't know. I really appreciate it. And so I just like reading comments, whatever you have to say. Yeah, rate me a letter. Rate me 5 stars wherever you're listening to this, Spotify, Apple. Leave a review if you wanna. Only if you wanna. Oh, my little cat is just, she's sleeping in like the coziest little position right next to my leg. Well, thank you guys for listening or watching. She's so cute, I can't. And I will see you next time. I don't have an outro for this, do I? Nope, I think it just ends pretty abruptly.